Good evening, ladies, and welcome to the Single Mom Support Group Friday Night Live. I'm not saying the Facebook because I'm actually using YouTube on my single parent page because I've got plans tonight and I didn't want to leave you hanging, but I've told my boys I would take them skating. And so they're doing a skate night tonight. And so it starts at 6. So I was like, darn, I have my, I can't take them when they're supposed to be there because I've got my live broadcast that I don't want to miss. And so rather than having them miss like an hour or two of skating, I thought, why don't I do my broadcast live early? So that's what we're doing. I'm glad that you're here on a miss. And so rather than having them miss like an hour or two of skating, I thought, why don't I do my broadcast live early? So that's what we're doing. I'm glad that you're here joining me on our Single Mom Support Group page. I did mention that these videos I might be doing on YouTube. So here we are on YouTube, but I'm going to be sharing a lot of personal information like I normally do in the videos because of the content that we're having. Remember, we're using the book. We're talking about dreams, putting your dreams to the test, or dreaming again. That's what we called this session. And I got my notes. So I'm going to pull those up and just kind of do a recap. Last week, well, for the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about dreaming again. And then week number 1, we had talked about why have a dream? What was your why? What was the reason why you should have a dream? And then talked about, we're going to be using the book. And then last week, week number 2, we talked about something that is important that could hinder dreams. And the topic was fear. So we talked about fear and the different faces that could look, and the question that you need to ask yourself instead of the what if I can't, what if I don't, was to kind of switch that around and ask well, what if I can? What would happen if I did do this? Or what would happen if I did accomplish this? So we talked about different types of fears, fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of looking stupid, fear of succeeding, fear of judgment, fear due to feelings of unworthiness. And then I mentioned that Joyce Meyer quote about do it afraid, do it anyway. Even if you're afraid, do it anyway. Just go for it. So, and then we talked a little bit about some of the practical things. Look, if you asked yourself, what would happen if I did do this? Or what would happen if I did write that book? What would happen if I did go to school? What would happen if I did charge 10 people $2 each for this thing that I created that everybody keeps saying I should charge for it? And then we brought that into a practical single mom application. What would happen if I did file for child support? What would happen if I did turn in the paperwork for housing assistance? What would happen if I did apply for the scholarship for single moms that I see to go back to school? What would happen if I did go back to school? What would happen if I got my degree? Things like that. So we talked about it. If you're already in this boat, then asking the right questions, possibly getting a no, is not going to damage your boat or make your boat worse. But the possibility of a yes could make your boat better. So when you ask the right question and ask yourself the right question to get your mind into thinking of the possibilities of what if this could happen? What if I can do this? What if this happens for me? That's what we were talking about, that spark of something that's on the inside of you. And so this week, we're talking about dreaming again, but I'm going to use a little bit more of my notes. I told you what we're sharing is something that I've prepared as a presentation that I give for single moms as far as my motivational speaking and things that I do. So we're talking about the dreaming of dreams and why people should dream about things that they don't have right now, things that could be far off in the future, or things that they possibly want to accomplish. We call them goals, dreams, whatever. They're the same thing. And I saw this. People dream because they know they were created for a purpose. And so there are some people, and this is something that I heard on Iron Fist. I like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU. And so even on Netflix, they've got, my new friends, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Danny Rand and Matt Murdock. And even Elektra is my friend. I like her. But even on that, I was watching Iron Fist, and I was watching like the first episodes of Iron Fist. And I don't recall, there was a scene where he was sitting in the park with this homeless guy. And there's a scene where he said, and I don't know if it was a Confucius or like a Buddha quote or something, but the guy he was talking to said something about my sole purpose in the morning is to get up and do something. And then he said, somebody says, and I don't know, I can't recall if he said Confucius or Buddha, but he said that man's purpose in life is to find his purpose. And I thought, well, that was really cool. I'm not a Zen person or Buddhist or, a follower of Confucius philosophy, but I thought that's a decent statement. But then it made me think about something that John Maxwell said. And because I think that first statement was incomplete, where, man's purpose in life is to find his purpose. I agree with that to an extent. But what happens next? What happens after you find it? Okay. John Maxwell said this. He said, there are two important days in a person's life. And this is kind of a paraphrase. It's not an exact quote. There are two important days in a person's life. The first day is the day they were born. And then the second day is the day they find out why. And I really like that statement, because when you find out why, then it motivates you to do something about it. And I think that's what was missing in that Confucius/Buddha, which I don't know which one it is, statement. It's great to find your purpose, but then what do you do after you find it? What's the purpose of finding your purpose other than just saying, I found it, huzzah, hooray? There's action that comes after that. And so people know there's a purpose for them being here. Some people spend their lives in search of the purpose and, might not find it. Some people struggle with the frustration of finding their purpose and then, could possibly cut their life short because they don't find it. But then there are some people who do find their purpose, and then they make a plan to go after it. And that's where I hope that you and I are. That's where I hope that all of this, what we're talking about for these few sessions that we're talking about, it is going. We've been talking about dreaming again, finding your dreams, opening your mind to the possibility that there's something else, that there's something better, that there is something more. And so all of these sessions that we've been doing, as I've given you homework to, find, hey, here's the homework to do this and to get this out there and have this kind of out in the universe, to know that there's something that you're here on this planet for. And you got to find that. Or you make a plan to get there once you found it. Okay, I know what my purpose is. So now how do I get from here is the purpose to here in my hands is the purpose of why I'm alive. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So we are talking about, and again, hopefully you and I are these people that we're talking about making a plan to get to your purpose. There are some people who have dreams. And again, because we're talking about dreaming and dreams, we're going to talk about having your own personal dream. There are things that people dream about that people have told them. There are people that are living dreams that are not their own dreams. There are things that people are doing that they're doing because someone said they might be good at it, but they don't have that burning desire inside. For them, it's just the grind. I'm on this wheel like a hamster, just running, going nowhere. So there are some people who are living dreams, but the dreams are not theirs. And these people, their parents have said, I want you to do this, or you're going to do this, you're going to go to this college, you're going to major in this, and then you're going to do that. These are unhappy people. These are people that go through their lives wondering, why am I doing what I'm doing? Because there's no fire, no passion behind it. Their parents have dictated their lives. They're working jobs because somebody said, you just need a job and make some money before you pursue your dream. I've had that happen to me a couple of times. Some people saying, well, you can't go after what you want to go after. You need to just find something and do that. And, and I get that. I get the logic behind that because it takes money to just live in our society. It takes money to survive. And you can't float off of friends and family, or you shouldn't. Not that you can't, but you shouldn't, float off of friends and family and things like that for an extended amount of time, because then you get kind of a negative reputation amongst those friends and family, even if they're not saying it to your face. There is that, here comes the moocher, the dreamer, that reminds me of a Bible quote, about Joseph and how he had these dreams. He was a dreamer, and his brothers, he would share his dreams, and he shared his dreams with his brothers, shared his dreams with anybody who would listen. But then he had a reputation with his brothers to the point that they wanted to kill him. They knew he was already the favorite. So dad sends him out to go check up on the brothers, and they see him coming afar off because he's got on his special coat. And they're like, oh, great, here comes the dreamer, the person we're going to bow down before him and all that stuff. So having that reputation connected to /moocher is a different thing. So you don't want that reputation to be the dreamer that's just mooching off of everybody. You want to be active in pursuing your dream, making sure there are markers that indicating I'm going from one step to another step. But let me go back to what I was talking about, how there are people who just say, you need to do this before you go pursue your dream, or you need to do that, or you just need to be doing something else besides pursuing a dream. Because a dream is not going to put food on the table. It's not going to, these are people that really don't understand what it means to have something in your heart to dream, or they have suffered disappointment because they did know what it means, but then life came and smacked them in the face like it often does to us. And then they laid down their dream. And so those that lay down their dreams often encourage others to lay theirs down too, because they're stuck now in reality and there's no imagination and there's no pursuing anything else. So when other people are telling you what you should do instead of you doing what you know you should do, that's how you know maybe I'm not following my own path maybe I'm not doing what I do. So last week, hopefully we got over the fear of going after a dream. And this week, we're going to talk about if your dream is your dream, or if you got it from somewhere or someone else. So that's what we're talking about. I've got a little chart here from my notes. So these are some things you got to consider to determine whether the dream that you're dreaming is a dream that you want, that's something that's burning in your heart and it's passion, or it's just something that someone told you you should do and you are just kind of doing it, going through the motions because this is the best scenario. Okay, listen to this. When someone else owns your dream, it will not have the right fit. But when you own your dream, it'll feel right on you, like a good coat or like a good pair of jeans. It'll just feel right. When someone else owns your dream, it's going to be a weight on your shoulders. And when you own your dream, it's going to provide wings for your spirit. Now, this is a chart right out of the book that we're using, John Maxwell's book, Put Your Dream to the Test. So it's not original, but it is, as far as I am concerned, it's factual. So these are some good things to consider. When someone else owns your dream, it will drain you of your energy, right? But when you own your dream, it'll fire you up. It comes from the inside out. When someone else owns your dream, it'll put you to sleep. You'll be like, man, I don't want to do this today. Let me hit snooze one more time. But when you own your dream, it'll keep you up at night. Okay, another one. When someone else owns your dream, it will take you out of your strength zone. So you remember we talked about those things that were strengths and weaknesses and how we should focus on the strengths and continue to build those things up. Don't worry about the weaknesses. Get someone else to cover the weaknesses, delegate the weaknesses, things like that, because we're building ourselves up. But when you're working for somebody else or when you're doing somebody else's dream, they're not necessarily thinking about what is this person really good at. They're looking at what can I get this person to do that's going to benefit me and my dream. And whether you're passionate about it, whether it's a strength or not. If it's not a strength, we'll just train you. Okay, now you're trained to, like a monkey, going through the motions, doing what you're supposed to be doing for someone else's dream. But when the dream is your dream, it'll take you out of your comfort zone. Okay, so now you're using your strength, and now you've got to take a step and present that strength or exhibit it to a wider audience than you're normally used to. That's the comfort zone, not the strength zone, because you've still got the strength. Now you're just putting it in a different arena that might be a little uncomfortable, but it's needful. So there's a difference between those two. When someone else owns your dream, it'll be fulfilling to others. It's going to be fulfilling to someone else. Oh, I'm so glad that you took my advice and now you're a doctor. Yeah, but I hate people. I hate the sight of blood. I hate the smell of hospitals. I hate what I'm doing. Okay, but you listened to me. Hooray. And now you're successful because you're doing a job that makes a lot of money. Yeah, but I hate this. Okay, it's fulfilling to somebody else to know that you fulfilled the dream that they had for you, but it's not fulfilling to you. When you own your dream, it will be fulfilling to you. There's nothing wrong with being a doctor. If you're passionate about that, if you're passionate about people, if you're passionate about helping people, if you're passionate about making people better and doing something practical about it, taking them from one physical state to another physical state and building them up in that way. If that's your passion, if that's fulfilling you, then perfect. But if every day you wake up and you're like, I hate this, then that's an indicator that the dream that you're living is not your dream. Here's one more. when someone else owns your dream, it will require others to make you do it. Again, that's that thing, living from paycheck to paycheck. I've got to get up and be to work by 8:30. So I'm going to push snooze until 7:55 at the last possible minute, jump out of bed, brush, wash quickly, 5 minutes, and then be on my way just so I'm not late. But when you own your dream, it will feel like you were made to do it. It's going to feel so natural to you. It's going to feel like this is the best thing I could be doing in the world. And you'll flow with it. It'll be a natural flow. It'll be a natural progression. And you'll love what you're doing. So those are some indicators that maybe you don't own your dream. If it's drudgery, if you're feeling tired, if you are dreading going to do it or going to it or something like that. But they're good indicators. If this is fueling you, if you laying in bed and this is the last thing that's on your mind that you're doing, I can't wait to wake up tomorrow and jump on that project or get to that station and work on this and all of that. That's when you know when the dream is pushing you, you know that it's your dream. When you are kind of behind pushing at the dream to make it move, that's an indicator it might not be yours. So how do you take ownership? Say we went through all that chart and you looked at all this and you said, well, okay, this dream is obviously not my dream. I want a dream that's mine, that I can own. Here's a quote that I found in the book that I didn't put in my notes, but it's something that John Maxwell, I think it was John Maxwell, I'll have to look it up and let you know next week. He said, no one is ever going to achieve a dream that they don't own. I mean, if you don't own being the CEO of a corporation, you're only going to go so far in that. You're not going to want to know what that's like at the top. Outside of having a paycheck, you're not really going to know what that's like. Okay, so there was my timer, because I did keep my timer on. But here's some ways to take ownership. I'll give you these short ways, and then I'll wrap it up with a quote real quick. Number one, be willing to bet on yourself, okay? That just means you have to know yourself. Again, you've got to know those strengths and those weaknesses. You've got to know what's important to you. What are your values? What are the things that you like and dislike? You know yourself better than anybody else. So when somebody says something about you and you know it's not you, like, who are you talking about? That's not me. So be willing to bet on yourself. You know you've got this passion. You know you've got the talent. You've got the skill to make these things. Then, okay, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say this is worth it. And then bet on yourself and do it. Number two, lead your life instead of just accepting it. Now, I know as single moms or single parents, we are all going through stuff. Life is happening. But that doesn't mean that life has to have a chain around our neck dragging us through it. We can put life on a leash and take life where we want it to go. It takes a mindset change. It takes an attitude change, and it takes an understanding that there's something else and there's something better in order to do that. On my business page on Facebook, Rabora Jeffries, Building People is my business. I've been doing videos on personal development, personal growth. That's what this is about, leading yourself. That's where leadership starts, learning how to lead yourself first. So don't just let life take you wherever life wants to go, because life doesn't know the goal of life. But you know your goal, where you want to go, what you want to do. So then you just do it. Number 3, love what you do and do what you love. That's so cut and dry, so simple, so easy. Number 4, don't compare yourself or your dream to another person's dream. And we'll probably talk just a little bit more about that next week, about comparing ourselves to other people. I know as women, we are just so bad at this. You know, we see some other woman and immediately we're comparing hair, eyes, makeup, clothes, kids, lipstick, purse, whatever. We're bad about judging other people, and then we judge ourselves just as harshly. And we got to get out of that. When it comes to your dream, nobody's going to have your dream, or if nobody gets your dream, so what? It's your dream. You're free to dream what you want to dream. That's why it's a dream. But I mean, it's something that you want to accomplish. And even if nobody gets it, nobody gets it. Okay. But that doesn't mean I stop because somebody else doesn't understand what I'm doing. It just means watch me because I'm going, right? And then number 5, and that's a little bit of what I was just talking about here. Believe in your vision for the future, even when others don't understand you. Why do you want to go back to school? Why do you want to try and work at that place? Why are you trying to start your own business? You're just what? You're just awesome. And you can do this, okay? You're going to know that your dream is your dream when you can't be talked out of it. So I'm going to end with this because I don't know how Facebook does these videos. I kind of am used to, YouTube. I'm used to how Facebook does it, but I'm not so sure about YouTube. So I don't know how far over I can go or how this is going to look. I can already see that my shirts, everything's backwards. I don't know how that's going to look on the actual video, but I'm going to close it up with a quote by Carly Fiorina. If you don't remember, she's a former presidential candidate. I'm hoping that she runs again. I was hoping that she would have stayed in the race this time, but hey, she said this, and she is a former chairman and CEO of Hewlett Packard. She said, love what you do or don't do it. Don't make a choice of any kind, whether in career or in life, just because it pleases others or because it ranks high on someone else's scale of achievement. Make the choice to do something because it engages your heart as well as your mind. Make the choice because it engages all of who you are. And that kind of sums it up. I mean, do what you do because it's in you to do it. Don't live for somebody else, especially when you find out that you haven't been living for yourself. It's so disappointing. You find out and you're asking yourself, man, how many years have I wasted? How did I even get here? You look back and you're like, what am I doing here? This is not even what I wanted to be doing. Do you because it's in you to do it. And it'll be hard, to let somebody know, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to live this way. I'm not going to do this thing. I'm not going to go this direction anymore. I think I need to go a different direction. Those are not easy conversations to have, but they're needful. And when you know yourself, no one can talk you out of, well, stay one more year, stay, make me a little bit more money before you go. I mean, that's completely selfish. So know you and then do you. That's how I'm going to end it. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. Again, I don't know. Well, it'll broadcast at the right time, but obviously it's not, well, not obviously. All you see is my background here. So you don't know what time of day it is, but I'll be posting this at our regular time so that we can engage. And let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Put your comments in, and let me know how this looks for you. Are you dreaming? Are you thinking about your dreams? Have you discovered that the dream that you're living or the life that you're living is not your own dream? And so now, what am I going to do about it? Am I going to get off this train track and get on my own train track, or am I going to keep going wherever this train is taking me? Because if someone else is driving the train, you don't know what's ahead. It could be a dead end. It could be, one of those barricades that you just slam into, and it hurts you. You want to be in charge of where you're going. You want to be able to make adjustments as they fit you, as you move and you flow and you grow. You want to be able to make those adjustments. You don't want somebody else to call the shots for your life. You're not their child. Even as an adult, as single parents, we're adults and we have children. So we know what it's like to tell your children to do something, and they have to do it because they're little. They're not equipped to make those decisions yet. But as adults, we are. And this is something that we can do. And we'll also be talking about how do you have to surround yourself with people that know you, know what you're doing, and will help you go for what you're doing. So let me go ahead and end this. I don't know how long. It says 31:43. So I'm going to end it right now. I love you, ladies, as always. I can't wait until next Friday. We're going to be talking about dreaming again. I'll hit another question because I didn't see any questions in the page. So we'll talk about something else next week. I don't know what yet, but we'll talk about it. Single Mom Support Group for people that are watching this on YouTube, Single Mom Support Group on Facebook. It's a closed group. Smiley mom and 2 little kids on it. So you're welcome to request to join. There's a few questions that you have to answer to join, but they're minor questions. And we'd be more than happy to have you. It's a great group of ladies who really share their stuff. And what is said in our group stays in our group. That's why it's closed. There are no men allowed in the group. So sorry, fellas. You're going to have to start your own single dads support group or something like that. So I will see you ladies next Friday right here on Facebook Live or on YouTube. If I have to do something else, then I'll put it on YouTube Live, and then we'll talk about dreaming again. I love you. See you then. Bye-bye. I do want to end my stream.